By the end of this story,
You'll understand why I never went back. I grew up in a town so small that everyone knew everyone else's business before breakfast. It was the kind of place where people smiled to your face, then whispered behind your back before you even walked away. My family had lived there for generations. Everyone expected me to stay forever. I thought I would. Until the night everything changed. My father owned the oldest hardware store in town. He wasn't rich, but he was respected. People trusted him because he always believed a handshake meant more than a contract. I inherited that same belief. It turned out to be the biggest mistake of my life. When I was 26, my father suffered a stroke. He survived, but he couldn't run the business anymore. I quit my job in Chicago and moved back home without thinking twice. I wanted to help. The store wasn't just a business. It was my family's entire legacy. For the first few months, everything seemed fine. Customers welcomed me back. Old friends stopped by every afternoon. Even my cousin Derek offered to help with bookkeeping because he had an accounting degree. I trusted him completely. After all, we grew up together. He practically lived at our house every summer. What could possibly go wrong? 6 months later, suppliers started calling. They claimed invoices hadn't been paid. That made no sense. The business had always been profitable. When I checked the accounts, everything looked normal. According to the records, every bill had been paid on time. I assumed the suppliers had made mistakes. Then the bank called. Our business account was nearly empty. I thought it had to be some kind of computer error. It wasn't. Over $200,000 had disappeared over the previous year. Small transfers, tiny withdrawals, amounts so insignificant individually that nobody noticed them. But together, they had nearly destroyed us. The security footage revealed something I never expected. Every unauthorized transaction happened on days Derek closed the store. I confronted him immediately. He laughed. Actually laughed. Then he told me I couldn't prove anything. He said the passwords were shared. He said anyone could have done it. He said the town would believe him before they'd believe someone who left for the big city. And he was right. The rumor started within days. People claimed I had mismanaged the business. Others said I came back only because I had failed in Chicago. Some even accused me of stealing the money myself. Customers stopped coming. Friends stopped calling. People I'd known my entire life suddenly crossed the street to avoid talking to me. The worst part wasn't losing the money. It was realizing how quickly people abandoned the truth. My father watched everything happen from his hospital bed. He couldn't speak clearly anymore. But one afternoon, he squeezed my hand and whispered 3 words: leave this town. I didn't listen. Not at first. I spent nearly a year gathering evidence. Every receipt, every bank statement, every security recording, every email. Eventually, a forensic accountant uncovered everything. Derek had created fake vendors. He had transferred money into shell accounts under different names. He thought nobody would ever notice because the amounts were always small. The investigation lasted months. When it finally ended, he was arrested. I expected people to apologize. Instead, most of them acted like nothing had happened. Nobody admitted accusing me. Nobody admitted spreading rumors. They simply moved on with their lives as if mine hadn't been destroyed. By then, the hardware store was gone. We couldn't recover from the financial damage. My father passed away a few weeks after the trial ended. At his funeral, almost the entire town showed up. People hugged me. They offered condolences. Some even called my father their closest friend. I looked around the room and realized something. These were the same people who had judged me without evidence. The same people who had watched my family fall apart and chose gossip over truth. That afternoon, I packed everything I owned into my truck. I locked the front door of my childhood home one last time. I left the keys with our attorney. Then I drove away. I never checked my rearview mirror. A few years later, I opened another hardware store nearly 800 miles away. This time, I built everything from scratch. No family expectations, no hometown politics, no fake friends pretending to care, just honest customers and honest work. Sometimes people ask if I'll ever move back. I always smile. Then I change the subject. Because by the end of this story, you'll understand why I never went back. Years have passed since I left that town. The hardware store is gone. Most of the people who judged me have probably forgotten my name, but I haven't forgotten the feeling of standing completely alone while everyone I trusted chose to believe a lie instead of the truth.